If you're an agency owner trying to grow in 2025, there is a brutal truth that no one is telling you. Most of what has worked over the last 5 years, it is either dead or it's about to be. And if you're not ready to reinvent how you market, how you sell, and how you deliver, you're probably going to end up getting passed by a newer, louder, and arguably now leaner competition. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down 12 brutally honest truths that I wish someone told me, and honestly, things that I am sharing with a lot of agency owners right now. Now, I've been building and helping other agency owners scale for almost a decade. And at Alt Agency, I've been blessed to be able to work with almost 900 different owners at this stage, where we've helped them get back their time while growing more profitably. So I've had the chance to see tons and tons of patterns. I've made plenty of mistakes myself, and I have a really good sense of what is working right now. And with all the things going on in the world, what is going to continue to work moving forward. Now, if you like this kind of straight shooting advice, I drop about 3 to 5 emails a week that go even deeper on this stuff. And you can join that list using the link in the description below. Now let's get into lesson number 1, because it hits kind of hard. The longer that you've been self-employed or working for yourself, building your own business, the more likely you are to be stuck. Now, you're not just stuck in habits, you're probably attached to them. You've tasted a little bit of freedom. Maybe you've built some systems in your business that have helped you over the years, but now you're scared to admit that they might be outdated, or it's time to learn some new tricks. And I see a ton of really smart, talented agency owners holding on to the way they used to do things like it is some sort of sacred scripture. But what got you here isn't going to get you there, as we've all heard. And honestly, I'm starting to see a lot of agency owners that, have been in the game for a little while not want to change. And it's gotten to the point where there's a little bit of entitlement, which honestly, in my experience, is often disguised as experience. So if you can't evolve, someone else, meaning your competition, likely will. So let's talk about the new game that you're now playing, which brings me to lesson number 2. You don't have a lead problem. You have a visibility problem. And the name of the game right now is actually distribution. You can have the best service, the best offer in the world, but if no one knows you, it doesn't matter. Distribution in today's world is you out there creating content, eventually running ads when you're ready, creating visibility, having a point of view in your market. Your marketing is how people experience you before they ever buy. And if they don't see you, you don't exist. And if you don't exist to them, they can never buy your services. And if they do see you, what they see better be dialed and sharp, because next up is what makes them actually care. Which brings me to lesson number 3. There are dozens of people offering what you offer. Same services or very similar, same deliverables or very similar. And if your perspective and point of view isn't different, you are going to become a commodity. Most agencies are out there saying the same things. We build beautiful websites, or we help you grow. That's cool, but your competition is likely saying the same thing. So we need to look at what is your lens on the world as it relates to what you do in the market that you serve. What's the problem that only you see, or the way that you see things happening, and how do you solve it? How do you solve it differently? This is what makes people choose you over either cheaper and even potentially more expensive options if they're out there. And once they get your point of view, they'll want to know how you actually do it. And that's what's next. So lesson 4 is all about, right now, everyone is using the same or very similar playbooks, right? You need to repackage the fundamentals in a way that feels fresh, a proprietary process, naming your system, making it feel like it is a novel approach. Now, I'm not saying this to like deceive anybody, but look, if like you're a lead generation agency and you focus on Facebook ads, like there's probably other people that run Facebook ads the same way you do. And so you need to package up your process, how you do things, combined with how you see the world, like I just talked about, to show up as someone who does Facebook ads differently that will align with your market. And so your process right now is probably solid, but to stand out, it kind of has to feel new. It needs to feel different, maybe even branded, right? So an example, content repurposing. That sounds super generic. And there are still a lot of agencies out there that do this, that just say, hey, we'll help you repurpose your content so that you can be all over the place. But take that against the agency who says, we have an infinite distribution engine. Just hearing it that way, I bet you agree that that carries a little bit more weight. It would make your prospect be a little bit more curious and probably lean in to want to hear more versus, oh, content repurposing. Like, I already know what that means. I'm good. Versus the infinite distribution engine. Like, again, I just made that up on the fly. That's probably not like the greatest name, but just having a name is something that has more weight. But a cool sounding system means nothing if nobody's buying it, right? So let's talk about why your offer actually needs to shift. Lesson number 5, big ticket offers, premium packages, service offerings, even, long-term retainers used to sell a whole lot better than they used to. And for some of you, they probably used to convert a whole lot faster. But now the game is different. Sales cycles are longer, trust is low, and I bet most of you feel this too. Buyers are a little bit more cautious. You're asking, in some cases, strangers or people that very warm to your world to spend $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on an annual retainer or a big project, and they've barely seen your face. You need stepping stones, whether that's small workshops or low ticket wins, something that's an easier commitment. For many of our clients that have, used to sell 60 to 100K projects, now they have $5,000 projects that actually sell in higher volume, that are getting people in the door to experience and demonstrate that they can drive results because they're actually getting clients results that lead to them then being willing to spend more on higher price packages. So we need to find ways to let them buy before they become a client of your big thing. That's what's going to help build trust and build it a whole lot faster. Now, trust gets built fast when you show your face. So let's go there. Lesson number 6. Stop hiding behind your agency name. You are leaving cash on the table. Founder brands convert, okay? People want to know who they are buying from. And in a world right now of AI generated everything, real people is kind of the new flex, which is really sad in many ways to say, but true. So when you show up consistently and authentically, your market stops shopping and they start following. But this also means you got to develop some skills that maybe up until now that you've avoided. So this brings me to lesson number 7. If your entire sales strategy is referrals, you're basically playing defense. In 2025, you need some offense. And this is where most agencies honestly start to struggle. They have to market themselves. You have to learn how to record videos, how to write copy, how to create content, and just talk to cold prospects in the private messages, in the DMs, not just wait for these super hot intros that come from your past clients. Referrals, again, are great. Take them. They're going to be lay down sales oftentimes, but they're not as reliable as you're going to need. And look, I know that learning new skills and putting yourself out there is uncomfortable. It's not optional anymore, though. It's required. And as you evolve your skills, you might have to evolve your business too. So this is bringing me to lesson number 8. What worked in 2019 for you might actually be holding you back today. You might need to serve a new market, to shift your offering, to upgrade your own delivery process, and maybe even the promise of what you deliver in the first place. For example, web designers, it's not just about making good-looking websites anymore. It's about conversion. It's about outcomes. It's about performance. And so you're not in the aesthetics business. You're in the results business, whether you like it or not. And you need to find ways, and again, that might mean acquiring new skills to take all the expertise that you have of having things look good and aesthetically beautiful, but also do the job of what a business owner would need, which is perform. And becoming a better expert won't necessarily get you there, but the next thing will. Which brings me to lesson number 9. Being amazing at your service won't grow your business. You need to become a business owner. One of our clients came into our world and they were talking about our program, and they're like, I didn't realize that I was hopping in to what is basically like an MBA on like being a business owner. They're there to grow their agency. They're there to grow their business. And it's not just, let's make you better at your craft. It's like, let's learn business skills, right? So you need to become a business owner. And that means profit margins, gross margins, systems, delivering with higher volume, creating your own marketing flows and funnels. Being a craftsman is your comfort zone. Building a business, this is where your growth is going to live. But growth doesn't always mean what you think it means, which brings me to lesson number 10. You don't need to scale a massive team or double your client load in order to be winning right now. Growth can mean more fun, more money, and more time back for you to spend with the people that you love most or on the activities that you love most. If you are just chasing headcount or client volume, you might be building a business that you hate. And somewhere along the lines over the last handful of years, people tout how many people they have on their team as if it's like a badge of honor, when we're on like the cusp of seeing probably the first one-person billion-dollar business, if it hasn't already happened yet. Like, we are getting closer to that with the rise of AI and all the other technology that's out there. So you got to make sure you're not building something that you hate. Learn to monetize differently. Again, smaller offers, productized playbooks. There is a way to do retainers right, where it's not just custom projects all the time. So having people subscribe to your programs, there's a lot of different ways to monetize. And this is exactly what I break down in the free training that I've linked up in the description below. But let's move on to lesson number 11. Monthly retainers feel safe, right? Monthly recurring revenue is great. I'm not knocking monthly recurring revenue. You definitely want it. But a lot of agency owners feel that they need to sell into a monthly retainer because that's what's going to keep them safe, warm and cozy. But they don't replace the need for consistently bringing in new business. Now, you don't need to bring in hundreds of new clients every month, obviously, but like, you need to have a steady flow of bringing in new eyeballs into your world, new leads, having conversations with new prospects, and enrolling them into your services. If you're not generating leads weekly and closing some new clients monthly, your stable business will crash at some point overnight in some short time frame from now. Which brings me to the final truth. And it's one that I think a lot of people don't want to hear or they think is gospel, but that's every business has churn. Okay. If you don't have churn, I actually think there's some problems, right? A lot of the agencies I know that have never had a client churn are stuck dealing with those clients that just keep asking for more, that are sucking them into their business and basically treat them like an employee. So some level of churn is normal. Structural churn is a thing, but the ones that win are the ones that continually outmarket whatever their churn is. Now, again, if you have like over 10% or 20% churn, yeah, we got to dial that back. And there's ways to do that. Doing many of the things like productization will help you. But even when you have churn at 5%, 8%, or even 3%, you still want to be growing your business, right? So you got to outmarket how many people are leaving. Ideally, you're bringing in more new business every month than is leaving every month. And most agency owners, freelancers, et cetera, they see churn and they start to panic. And smart ones see churn and they just know that they need to continually ramp up their marketing and sales at the same time. So if you don't have a lead conversion engine, churn will eventually catch up to you and take you out of the game. Now, if these truths hit hard, good, because the agency model that most people are following that you're familiar with, it's broken, it's bloated, it's slow, and it's built for burnout. So in the next video that you can click right here, I'm going to show you exactly how I escaped it and what I've built instead, a lean, high profit business that pays for my ideas, not just my time. So check it out.